It's the Eisenstein Effect. We're gonna make you laugh, and we might even teach you a thing or two.
Welcome to the Eisenstein Effect. I'm your host, Vickie Eisenstein, and this is my guest,
Michael Monroe Goodman.
Michael is a singer-songwriter, an actor, and a screenwriter. No, comedian. I messed it up. Both. He's both. He's everything and anything that you want him to be. Basically,
what if the money's right?
So tell me, Michael, what's your origin story?
My origin story? Well, me and Wolverine and Gambit, we all discovered we had these mutant powers, you know, and mine was singing. Yeah.
So what I meant was, you know, where are you from? And
I am from Bowling Green, Kentucky.
From Kentucky, awesome.
Born and raised in Bowling Green in Glasgow, Kentucky.
That's awesome. Glasgow, like Scotland.
Yeah, it's just like that. And they even have, they have what's called the Highland Games in Glasgow, Kentucky. And so every year, it's like in the spring or summer, they have like a very traditional Scottish festival with like
the tree throwing?
Yeah, the tree throw, caber toss, I think it's called, caber toss, and you know, all kinds of other stuff, from kilts and bagpipes. And actually my high school is one of the, maybe the few or only marching bands that has full bagpipes in the marching band, and their and their marching band attire is like Scottish kilts and the headdress and all that stuff. It's very
so awesome.
It's very cool. And
were you in that?
Nah, I was in middle school, but I dropped out of band for high school. Opted out to sing and be in choir and stuff instead of the marching band. I should have got the bagpipes.
That would have been so cool.
I could have played the bagpipes.
I would have been like,
everyone.
Give me that picture. I'm spamming it everywhere.
Yeah.
You were in chorus and stuff like that. Did you do musicals as well?
Yeah, I did some like music reviews in middle school. I was always sang "Bring Him Home" from Les Mis.
That's a good song.
You know, like a 15-year-old singing a song about "Bring Home My Son." It makes a lot of sense. You know?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see you can really get into that mindset.
Yeah. I understood the strife.
Yeah. I'm seeing. Do you feel like? I mean, in your music, do you feel like you express a lot of strife too, like in your music that you currently make? This is a random question.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially as a country songwriter, you pretty much have to. I mean, if you were a country music songwriter and your song's a little bit too happy, a little bit too like in life grand, and nothing ever goes wrong, people are like, call BS. They're like, yeah, that's not country music. You gotta be like, yeah, you got country music's, you know, the cliche is that country music's about, you know, losing your house and losing your dog and, you know, drinking beer on a tailgate or whatever, you know.
There are a lot of songs.
Yeah, but I mean, like, not what is on country radio today. I don't fall into that category, but like, yeah, you gotta.
You're more classic.
I'm very classic country, yeah, and so a lot of songs about, you know, story songs about love and hard times or you know, heartbreak and pain and strife, I guess, you know. Now,
when you write songs about that, do you usually write, are you one of those people who's like kind of the catalyst to write is an event in your life, or do you kind of process things and then go on to write?
It goes a multitude of different ways. Some songs that I, like my new album that's out now has a lot, it is full of a lot of true story songs, like songs that are based on 100% things that like I went through or happened to me with like my family or past relationships. And there's a few that aren't. So I'll do it like one of three ways. I'll write 100% from my point of view, or I'll write from someone else's point of view that I'm inspired by through a story, or I'll write a song purely on the grounds of just trying to come up with a clever story or comedic story or something like that. So it's like either trying to be really clever or truthful. So either truthful from my own point of view or truthful from someone else's point of view.
So then who would you call your influencers? Influences? Who has bestowed upon you such influence such that you feel that you are the musician you are today?
The greatest influence I think I have is is my namesake, Bill Monroe, who is I grew up with. My parents were real good friends with him, and I spent a lot of time with him. And he's the father of bluegrass music, and was one of the pioneers of country music in the 30s and 40s. And so, of course, he was very much older when I was around him as a kid, but he had all this legendary status. But growing up around him and that type of music, and my dad played banjo in bluegrass bands, so that very much influenced me even more than I realized as a kid. Like some of the things of that style of music just like come so natural to me, even though like sometimes like feel like, oh well, I haven't researched or done enough in this realm, but as soon as I start doing it, it's almost like it's like a former life I did that, but it's just where it's just been ingrained in me as a kid. And so he's like one of the greatest influences, and I'm just a huge admirer of him. One, because I grew up and he was just like family to me, and then two, I've read a lot of his biographies and seen the great things that he did with music and how he influenced a lot of great people, and his work ethic. I really loved his work ethic as a musician, singer-songwriter. He was very adamant in the 30s and 40s that he didn't want people to think that his music was hillbilly or like lowbrow. And so like even though he's playing like Grand Ole Opry and playing outside festivals and stuff in the 30s and 40s and all through his career, everyone in his band had to dress in a suit, tie, and hat. He wanted to present his music in a very professional sense. He didn't want people to think his music lacked professionalism or prestige or anything like that. And like I've took that upon myself very much in my music, that I'm like very adamant about when I play out and my band dresses nice and we conduct ourselves in a very professional manner. And I'm kind of like a fuddy-dud when I'm playing out. Like I don't want my band to show up like stoned or drunk or anything.
Of course not.
They can do all that after the show. They can do all that all they want. I don't care. But like I'm very serious about presenting my music with the and I.
I'm sorry. The lawn service.
The leaf blower
seems to have just arrived. Wait. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your current album? Like tell everybody about that.
Okay. My new album is entitled The Flag, the Bible, and Bill Monroe. And when I thought about putting this album together, I had most of the songs already intact that I wanted to put on this, and they're very personal songs. But I just had felt this calling, like I want to write a song that's kind of like the ABCs of me, or everyone has a core of who they are and the things that mean the most to them, where it's their family or their religion or their ancestry or career, passion, whatever, that things that really heavily influence them and things that make them who they are. And it's really great that we live in a country where we can all have different beliefs and core principles and get along together. So I take pride in that. But so I was like, well, what were the things that are the essence of me, things I would never change, and that was kind of the things, like my religion and my patriotism and truly believing that America is like just the most wonderful place to be, and its heritage and history. And then Bill Monroe, obviously, because of the musical influence that he's made on me and my personal life growing up with him. So it's kind of like those are the things I'm kind of passionate about and kind of stand up for. So anyways, I wrote the song based on that, and then that compiled with all the other songs on the album that are mostly all true and very personal. This was like this album was like a concept of just kind of telling the world who I am through my songs, where other albums, like my last album, was more of it had a completely different concept. It was just more fun and retro in that way.
Do you feel you have to reinvent yourself with each album, or do you feel...
I think there's like an element of as a musician and artist, it takes a lot of artists years to figure out their voice, because they're influenced by lots of different things. So it usually takes time for somebody to find their voice or their style of music, and I think I've finally figured that out. But then after you figure that out, it's more of, from there on out, each album or each endeavor that way. You don't want to be just copying the same thing over and over again, like just putting out albums that all sound identical, but at the same time you don't want to lose your core of what your style is. So I think it's a balance of, I mean, every musician is that way. You think of, you know, Dylan or Bruce Springsteen or you know, the Stones, and you look and they've all evolved with time, because the core is who you are or your style, but then that gets affected by the culture and the times and the music around you and just things that you absorb through time as far as influences. So it'll always constantly evolve, just like anything. So that's the thing. Right now I can't predict like what my next album would be like, because I haven't started writing it yet or anything.
I feel like at this moment you could either be like super pumped for it or kind of really nervous about it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, but it seems like you're on the pumped side of things.
I think I am. It's kind of if this would have been like 5 or 6 years ago, I probably would not have been. I'd have been like intimidated about like, oh, I got to write an entire album without using stuff, you know, that's kind of fell through the years. So, but I feel confident in my songwriting ability now, that I feel like I can sit down with an agenda and write a song on that way. And it's taken many years to do that, because used to, when I was young, and like a lot of young songwriters, you like only write when you're inspired, and you only write. And I've found over the years, like, you can't limit yourself to being that way, because if you're an artist, if you're a creative type, it's in you. It's a matter of like, so it's not waiting around till you're inspired. It's like, what can I do to spark the inspiration? So a lot of times it's like finding new ways. And with one of the things I discovered doing improv when I moved to Chicago and started doing improv was it's such a great tool for creativity, whether it be sketch or anything. And so, you know, I went through music improv conservatory at Second City, and doing that I've discovered improvising songs on, you know, in the moment. I discovered like, wow, I've got this ability, like we all do, to like, you know, overcome your critical part of your brain and let the creativity flow. And when you let that happen, you really delve deep into what the core of your creativity. And so that's one of my favorite ways to write songs now. Doing that is I'll sit down and just start playing a song. I'll play the music, and I'll kind of like carve out what I want to hear. I'll play the song like, this sounds really great, and then I'll just keep singing the song over and over again, and I'll just start like mumbling lyrics. You know, and as the more and more I do it, like, more words will start to come out, or I'll just sit down and like, I'm going to start singing and I'm going to make words come out. And you know, most of it's nonsense, you know, but then there'll be like nuggets of like, ooh, that's a great line.
I like that,
and then you go back and you improvise it again.
Re-improvise,
and then you like discover the story of the lyrics of that song, and then you really great. So it's really really eye-opening to like, because I'm a firm believer now that like, once you have the melody or the feel of the song, when I like write a song musically first, there's so much emotion, and then I go, what is this? What does it feel like it's about? Now how do I put into words what this emotion is? And then as I do that, you figure like, oh, that's what this song is about. If I'm writing like music for my albums, I tend to kind of like, because I know my style, I'll kind of like, you know, create the melody or create the song first, and then find the words, and I'll usually like find enough of the words that I'm kind of like, oh, that's what it's about, and then I'll sit down and I'll meticulously like do a free pose writing or whatever, and then get all the details and then kind of really delve into that. But when it comes to like writing songs for like musical theater or something like that, it's very different, because I know what the story is supposed to be ahead of time. And so then I'm like, okay, I have the lyrics, so I'll make sure I have all the lyrics, and then I go, okay, what would the music sound like that accompanies these lyrics? So it really depends on what direction I'm coming from, on which one comes first.
because you're an actor too, so I'm so curious about that. Like, what have you been doing recently as an actor?
Well, I just finished Ring of Fire, which was Johnny Cash musical review that we did at the Mercury Theater for 6 months. It got extended twice. It was a really good long run. And then we did it the year previous. We did it at Theater at the Center in Munster, Indiana, for like an 8-week run down there.
Oh wow!
And so we had, you know, the two combined, it did almost 300 shows, and
Dang.
So that was really great. And that ended a couple weeks ago. But I've got a play that starts in February at the Den Theater, and it's a Mark Roberts play. And Mark Roberts was he's the creator of Mike and Molly, and used to be the chief writer of 2.5 Men. He's a great great writer. He was a veteran comedian in the 80s and starred in a lot of sitcoms in LA in the 90s. And so now he's playwriting, and and this play already did really well critically off Broadway, and so now he's bringing it to Chicago.
Okay.
And so I got cast in that a few weeks ago, and I'm excited about that because it'll be my first straight play that I'm getting to do, because with my music abilities, it's real easy for me to get cast in like jukebox musicals, because you know there's not very many people in Chicago that can act and play one or more instruments, and so that gives me an advantage at getting work, which is good. But at the same time,
wait, what are all of the what are all the musical instruments that you play?
I play guitar, electric bass, banjo, and mandolin.
Okay, yeah. Wow. I was thinking that maybe you could play a little bit of your music, or you could, you know, I thought that'd be cool.
Play a song?
Yeah, play a song, or play a couple riffs. I don't know.
Ooh, riffs. Yeah. I got a couple riffs. Let's do this song. This song is about, I'm not, but for married men out there in relationships, we'll write a song about the perils of being a man and trying to get a woman to understand you.
Aww, right? Okay.
My wife likes to talk and ask a million questions. She don't understand why I don't do the same. She has a different thought about every 30 seconds, but all of mine are pretty much the same. I think about beer, I think about football, I think about all the things she won't let me do. I think about money, even though we don't have it anymore. Oh, but mostly I just think about screwing her friends.
I like that ending.
You like it?
Good punch.
Yeah. The song has to end there. There's nowhere you go after that.
You can't go anywhere after that. Yeah. Do you have something else?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear another song.
Let's do another song.
Yeah.
We'll do a song that's on my new album. This song, it's kind of a ballad. It's a pretty ballad, but it's a little tongue-in-cheek as well. And it's called, well, I'm not going to tell you what it's called. You have to hear. I played lots of places, standing ovations on stages as big as they come. I opened for big stars, traveled near and far to satisfy thousands of fans. But there's a place that I'd rather be, without all the smoke machines, with the biggest fan that I had. On the edge of the bed, candlelit room, me and my guitar in hand. And on the other end lays a woman I love, a big smile, 2 little tears. All she likes are concerts in my underwear. Now I can't imagine they'll come day when I can't sell out this place. On the edge of the bed, candlelit room, me and my guitar in hand, and on the other end lays a woman I love, a big smile and 2 little tears. All she likes are concerts. Oh, now she likes the concerts. Oh, now she likes the concerts in my underwear. She likes the concerts in my underwear.
Yay! I love it.
You like that one?
Yeah. Do you often give concerts in your underwear?
No. Well, if the money's right. You know, if the money's right.
There we go. Yeah.
You know, most venues don't ask for that outright, but private parties maybe.
Gotcha.
No, but I mean, I wrote that song when I was married, and it was just like I really just wrote the song for my ex-wife, and it was kind of like a joke. And it's kind of like, I think she made a joke about like on when we first started dating, one of our dates or whatever. I was just like went and grabbed my guitar and was in my underwear or whatever, and like sang a song for her out of nowhere. And so it was kind of like a joke, like, oh, you're just gonna sing songs for me in your underwear or something like that. So I kind of like wrote the song for her, and didn't really intend for it to be for anything other than that. But then like I played it at a few of my bar venues when I was in Louisville, and people were like, I love that song, and I was
it's
like,
a good song.
And I was like, okay, well, you know, it's funny how you do that. Way you sometimes as a songwriter, you got to remember a lot of times as a songwriter we'll write something that's so specific and personal just for us that we think like, oh, well, I get what that means because I know all the inside jokes or inside information about it. But it's like, oh, that's all it'll ever be. But really, those are like the songs that people typically really want to hear. That's very specific, even if it's very detailed from your point of view. Other people can relate to it in a different way or their point of view. You know, it's like, but it's with songwriting and screenwriting and anything like that. I think it's the details are very important because anyone could just say, oh, well, I wrote a story. Well, what's it about? It's about a guy and a girl who fall in love. Well, I never heard that one before. That's amazing. You know, but it's the details that make something
What's
unique.
that? Generality kills art or something like that?
Yeah,
what
totally.
Is it? Yeah.
Totally.
So now I think we're at the point where we're talking plugs. So why don't you?
Electrical plugs back here.
Yeah, there are. Don't pull those, please.
Kind of plugs. Don't be safe with electrical plugs.
Yes, that's the first plug. So yeah, why don't you plug everything you got? Your shows, your album, all that good stuff.
All right. Well, I've got my brand new album, The Flag, the Bible, and Bill Monroe. That's out now. Just got released this week, so it's on iTunes, CD Baby, or on my website. You can order it directly from the merch store on there, which is michaelmonroegoodman.com, and you can go on there and like watch videos, see tour dates of where I'm playing, read news articles, all that kind of good stuff. Or if you're casting for a play or something, I have my resume and acting reels on there, you know, as well. And so there's all that good stuff on there. I also have, you know, I'm also on I have a YouTube channel that you can find through the website link. So I've got a lot of different videos I've done over the years, like different ideas or just jams or anything like that, just as far as music.
So yeah, thanks for watching or listening to the Eisenstein Effect. We've got a new episode every week, so stay tuned. Also, check us out on Twitter at EisensteinEFCT, or check out my personal Twitter account at Vickie Eisenstein. And yeah, check us out if you're listening. Check out the YouTube to see actually Michael playing his guitar and stuff. Or if you're watching the YouTubes, why don't you take a listen to the podcast, because that's got the whole interview, not just the chopped up segments that you've seen. All right, bye everybody.